If only I had stayed unconscious. And I am telling you, that leg will rot off if I do not do anything. That is your own leg you are smelling. I told you, it is infected. Stop squirming around, or I will have you strapped to the bed. And that is what makes it healing. The more it stinks, the better it works. Do you think I enjoy listening to your nonsense? Just lie still. If you had not been so fussy, your suffering could have ended long ago. Now, hold still. Suit yourself. Let your leg rot up to your testicles. I have no need for this. To your balls. They will turn black and fall off, killing you. You still look very much alive to me. Come with me. Sir Stibbo has something to say to us. You're finally awake. You took a nasty blow and passed out. I was afraid we lost you. It is not all that common in my country, but I follow the teachings of the great scholar Ibn Sina. You Christians know him as Avicenna. That is a very interesting theory, my friend. But next time, I would advise you to keep your observations to yourself. I have taken care of countless wounded men. I know what I am doing. And if I say Chetan was poisoned, then he was poisoned. Then I gave him some wine to prepare him for treatment. That is the usual procedure. Might I say a word about this matter? Someone must have poisoned the wine while I was not looking. They must have mixed something into the wine. I tried other alcohol as well, but drinking mead makes my patients worse. And if I give them beer, they almost always shit themselves. You are probably right, my friend. When Chetan was brought here, he was bleeding heavily, and his wounds needed stitching. But he survived. As I said, I give it to wounded men to ease their pain and for certain complaints. At the right dose, it can be very beneficial. But what was not usual was that he started vomiting blood. And then he died. But he could not be more wrong about the rest. Chetan's dead. Not from his wounds. He was poisoned. Sir Grozav is right about that. Perhaps you really do know what you are doing. But then it must also be clear to you how dangerous it can be. That is not such a bad idea, Henry. Very busy? May I ask who you are? Big? Wise? Courteous? You? Do not take offense, but you do not look like someone who has knowledge of alchemy. It is not a simple matter just to brew some potion and pour it down his throat. It could make him worse, and I cannot risk that. So, you came straight to me. Is that so? That is true. There is more than one life at stake here. Very well, then. He is lying over there, and will remain lying for long. He was badly stabbed, and it will take weeks before he comes to his senses. So please, stop staring at me and tell me what you need from me. Tell me then, how the people in those stories are described. Not exactly like you. Am I right? Very well, friend. I will try to trust you. Very well, then. If the Prague army wants to gamble with its soldiers' lives, I cannot stand in their way. My alchemical apparatus is all yours, friend. You'll find it right outside the tent. Iniherebe. Unless I may not speak your language fluently yet, but my memory is good. And is it a strong enough decoction? When Mishek was brought here, he was awake for a while. He tried to tell me something about a wagon, a chest, a chata, a place called Lota. That should not be necessary. One can make a decoction from Varelian and mint, which is called cockerel potion. It will not heal the poor wretch, but it might wake him up for a bit. I wish I could do more for you, friend. When he was brought here, he was mumbling about some wagon on a place called Lota. But then he passed out and did not awake again. Then you shall have to wait. And as you see, it is not. As I said, he was mumbling something about a painted chest and a place called Lota. Perhaps that will help you. You? It seems that you know a little about medicine, and that means that you should also know that it is a risk. I know very well what you meant. I've had such a conversation at least 100 times. I know what you meant. I have had this conversation at least 100 times. Be careful that you do not end up like Mishek, though. a physician, not a magician. But there might be one possibility. Watch your tongue, my friend. I may have humility, but, how do you say it? I will not be treated like shit. As I said, only time can heal him. Do you have dung in your ears, or what? You will have to find another solution, friend. I am sorry to say it, but he cannot help you now. He died not long ago. Allah Yanok. Soup, you say? Then I certainly cannot let you near Mishek. But it must be very strong. Not like what is sold by the quacks around here, but maybe only up to your ankles, friend. In any case, you have found your man. Musa of Mali, scholar, traveler, and physician, at your service, friend. Yes, Mishek. Have you never heard of Prester John or the Christian kingdom of Axum? And I cannot abuse the trust these poor wretches here have placed in me. I'm sorry, friend, but I will not let you near Mishek. It is nothing too complicated. I have some rose water here, and I need to change the bandage. You are not of much help. Now show me that leg of yours. It is too bad you did not tell me whose side you were on then. I could have left with you and avoid getting an arrow in the chest. It is a pity I did not know that earlier. I would have given her more to do in the camp than laundry. I would not mess with him if I were you. There is no telling what he will do when he is angry. It is an excellent idea. It is a shame I did not think of it myself. Take care, friend. Of course I do. With everything, I will not be insulted. May your leg rot off for all I care. I cannot complain, my friend. But I do not know enough swear words in your language to express my feelings properly. But seriously, the fever has gone down, and the arrow did not hit anything important inside of me. So, I will be fine in a few days. Maybe I should have left with you when you gave me the opportunity. But who could have known they would begin shooting at me? Maybe you could tell the others to try not to bleed too much. Catherine has mastered this art. Many learned men could envy her skills. We will see. In 2 or 3 days, the wound will become infected. Then he will gladly come crawling back to me. On his hands, that is. Thanks mostly to Catherine here. She's taking such good care of me. Like new, my friend. Catherine is a mistress of my art. Better than many learned men. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Henry. Come now. If you had not helped me when they wanted to accuse me of Tretan's murder, Grozav would have had me drawn and quartered. But if you have any injury or ailment, come here and we will help you. Yes? Do not risk losing your limbs to save us trouble. An army from all corners of Europe. So many cultures and cuisines. And I eat only millet. You can have items repaired by the smith, and if you're hungry, the kitchen is over there. So, in this part of the camp, you see the tents of various mercenaries from Germany, Poland, Hungary. In short, everyone who came to fill their pockets. The food will please you more than me, I think, treating meat in that way. I simply cannot eat it. In short, you are barbarians. Though kind-hearted barbarians. Well, for example, people in my world are educated, not like in yours. And education is the greatest wealth there is. The foundation of education is to learn how to read and write, so that you can study the Quran. You can get this foundation in one of our mosques. There were originally 2, but after I left, I heard they built a 3rd. So what would you like to learn, my friend? If you want to continue your pursuit of knowledge after that, you would have to find a teacher and study in his private library. Limited. Your medicine, physics, and astronomy burned together with Rome. I don't have the time or patience for that, my friend. But I can give you a few tips. On the way to the Arabian Mecca, I was attacked by robbers, and they took everything. I had to walk through the desert, naked. But I learned the most in Timbuktu, in my country. Do you think I stabbed him? From afar? We do not know for certain. It is not impossible. I had to go and get clean bandages and water to wash the wounds. No, sir. It was not even possible. We had enough trouble carrying Shaitan. It cannot be ruled out. Why would I have any? I heal people. Thank you, my friend. But I do not think that helps very much. Yes, sir. There, I gave him wine to drink, and I prepared to stitch his wounds, but he died before I could. Are you trying to console us or provoke us? Chicken, fish, rice, millet, anything you can imagine. But do you know what I would really like to have right now? Yogurt. Yogurt. Thick sour milk? Nice and cold with honey. There is nothing better in the heat of Mali. Very interesting. It is a pity. I have not met many like that. Firstly, I would not call it a tournament. Rather, mindless hacking. Those are all true wisdoms. Also in the name of Allah. It is terrible what happened to Samuel. Merely dumb violence for its own sake. It is not chivalrous like Pharisee. I am very grateful. I am glad you will not forbid me from staying. Pharisee, the skill set of an Arab warrior. Really? It is a pity Catherine cannot show me around. I would like to stay here for a while. All I have seen in your country is death. So now I want to discover its beauty. It was good to see you, Henry. Very good, because it went too far. Instead of matching skills, people settled scores with each other. They killed each other from rage and also from boredom. I regretted that from the first minute, friend. Please accept my sincerest condolences. When the mallet lands on your head, in addition, he should also be able to hold his own when fighting with a spear and a sword. And of course, excel in archery. It is a miracle. Since meeting you, I've been taken prisoner, shot, almost executed, starved to death. Since the tournament was banned, I have a lot less work with mending fractures. I shall not lie to you. Here, in the camp, there is only a common band of cutthroats who would slit their own mother's throat for money. Do you think Catherine would be my guide? I'm sure she would show me things I would like. Whoever does so more times wins. In any case, nothing teaches you how to ride a horse better than Shogun. A riding game. Very hard and dangerous. You will not get rid of me that easily. All I have seen of your country so far is death. Now I want to discover its beauty. Where I come from, every fighter must be able to ride a horse and take care of its injuries and illnesses. 2 teams of riders with wooden mallets try to get a leather ball into the opponent's goal. Keep her close, friend, or you will lose her to me. Is this your subtle way of suggesting I should leave? I have successfully avoided situations like this all my life, but now and then it is not possible. I expected I would lose an arm, at least. Greetings, Henry. But if you had not come, it would have been much worse. And above all, he must not be a coward, but on the contrary, an honorable man. And if I have to choose between a gilded cage with Sigismund or uncertainty here with you, my choice is clear. And, to answer your question, there will not be any. The commanders wisely banned them. What is a lot? Even one death is more than enough. Not even a Chogan is so terrible. This part of the camp is mainly for humans. So if you are looking for one, he will be either here or near the bathhouse. We will take a look there too. Do not worry. Not much has changed here. Let us keep going. Over there is the pen where they used to have tournaments, until the captains banned them. But that is a long story. Muscular, wise, wealthy. Tell me then, how the people in those stories are described. Not exactly like you. Am I right? Welcome then, Henry. Do you need anything? Musa of Mali is my name. Scholar, explorer, and physician. I run the camp infirmary. So you see, it is not. I know very well what you meant. I have had this conversation at least 100 times. I know what you meant. I have had this conversation at least 100 times. Here we go again. Have you never heard of Prester John or the Christian kingdom of Axum? Yes, it will get us nowhere. I agree. What exactly are we going to attack? How will they get in? The village is full of enemies. I suppose it depends on what the shoe was made of and what it stepped in. Our rota has not run out yet, right? The finest in the world, fellows. It is just that you have not finished telling me the story of George and the dragon. I wouldn't recommend it, but perhaps shoes made of a fine leather. Maybe sheep leather. We should eat the shoes of our captain's wife. I would rather the desert over hunger, Godwin. Believe me. Barely. They are so covered up in clothes, it is like talking to a pile of laundry. In the heat, very little, friends. Especially from the waist up. My lady, someone must take the message, crawl out of here through the Braga's army, steal a horse, then deliver it. He has a head for trade, Dietrich. He's wasted on fighting in battle. My country has its own customs, and covering women up for no reason is not one of them. How does your proverb go? So many countries, so many customs? Well, that leaves us with one little problem. My head will remain on my shoulders. That is the main thing. My head will remain on my shoulders. That is the main thing. What? But fellas, in Granada, I met a soldier who told me that once while under siege, he cooked up soup from shoes. You dare turn down your captain? Bear in mind that the last man to try that failed, and we were in a much better situation at that time. I am doing it more out of boredom than hunger. So, let us make some shoe broth. So, let us see them. You are truly a resourceful man, Henry. What? Did you change your mind? That is a very personal question, and we are not that well acquainted yet. Forgive me, but I would rather not talk about it. So you have nothing to fear. If someone kills you, it probably will not be because of me. I was not that important, my friend. Or I traveled too fast, and no assassin has caught up with me yet. I know that several of them were killed. I have no news about the others. All right. I think I can trust you. When I left Mali, it was not entirely safe there. You are quite right, my friend. This is not the right time. King of Mali, Mansa Magan, was killed by his Sandiki. In your language, that is advisor? Maybe too much, my friend. But what are you getting at? Although I never even came close to the throne, I had no intention of trying to explain that to Sandiki. I preferred to flee. A lot. Mansa Magan was my cousin. I think about it often. Almost every day. But I suppose I am afraid. That is all. I do not even know if I would recognize it now. I last met some of my countrymen in Mecca, and that was many years ago. Not now, at least. He then took the throne, and one of his first orders was to get rid of Magan's family. So, as you have no doubt realized, this is my infirmary. Come on, let us walk outside. You have already seen the infirmary, so we will go somewhere else. Follow me, my friend. One part for operating on the wounded, another for the sick, my alchemist bench, a tub of water. Nothing out of the ordinary. You should lose your hand for that. Are you out of your mind? What are you doing? That must be a crime in this country too, no? That's enough! Stop that! What are you doing? Henry, have you gone mad? Do you have to do that right in front of me? Who have I got mixed up with again? Is that some sort of strange Christian entertainment? You behave like riffraff in the name of Allah. What have you done, Henry? I can see you. Now, Father Godwin. Stop! Well, all right. Be glad none of the king's men can hear us. Try looking above the smithy. But do not go anywhere you should not. And if they catch you, you never spoke to me. Not yet, my friend. Since I cannot leave this place, we shall have to make you an expert on poisons. I only saw him very briefly, but it was obvious he was in bad shape. I am starting to think they did not put the right person in charge of this investigation. You have done more in a few days than others in many weeks. Excellent, my friend. Maybe we can manage this together. Excellent. People have just been sitting around for months here. And all of a sudden you turn up, and everything is turned upside down. Only Allah can cure the ill. I already told you everything. We laid him on the table. Crow went his own way, and I started cleaning Chertan's wounds. Did you not find anything more promising in the book? It smelt and looked the same, as always. Except, perhaps, by complete chance. In Venice, I joined an expedition that was heading to India, but we were attacked by pirates. Do you know, I was not originally a physician. You know it is forbidden for me. Do you even know what you are asking about? Most of the people in the camp respected Chertan. And besides, not everyone can get up to the powder store. What? War never changes. I had quite enough of war in Granada. So when envoys from Hungary came to the Sultan, I managed to persuade them to take me away with them. I have done some thinking about that. After all, what else can I do here? You can read, I hope. You killed him! What potion did you give him, you fool? You do not know, my friend? Educate yourself a little. It is not far from here, on the other side of the Alps. No, not directly anyway. But let us say they made it very clear to me that the wounded from the king's army were the priority. I have no idea. But what I do know is that we will not get anywhere if we suspect everyone in the camp. That does not narrow down our search much. I did indeed. From Timbuktu, I went to Holy Mecca. From the Emirate of Granada to Venice. And from there to the court of Sultan Bayezid of the Osmans. It is a proverb from my country. It means the road to truth has many twists and turns. You would be surprised, my friend. I may not be an expert, but I know that many everyday things are actually poisonous. I would also like to know that, my friend. But I am stuck here. Tinje sireye, mene mene sireye. Lullaby potion is for sleep, but not eternal sleep. You would have to drink a whole barrel for it to kill you. But soon after, we found ourselves at war with Tumor and his golden horde. That is, I would, if I could get out of here. So, we spent the whole night in Katz's tent with his double, did we? So I think it will be best if we each go our own way. Well, partly, but mostly it was negligence and disrespect for human life. I would not expect such an opinion from an artillery commander, the kind who cares about people's health. In that case, I have never seen a more beautiful place in my whole life. In that case, I cannot wait to get away from here. Murderers, battles, arrows in the chest. I could happily do without all that. Then, all I can say is that this muddy hill is about the only thing I have seen of your country, and that has not made much of an impression on me. May his lordship enjoy my soup. The chest is locked, but I trust you will manage somehow. But the Sultan soon found out that I had lived among Europeans, and I could talk to all the envoys who came to him, so I became useful. Even so, it is strange. For months, the people here have been sitting around doing nothing. Then suddenly, you turn up, and everything is turned upside down. I do not intend to accuse anyone, of course. I myself have a knife to my throat. I do not suspect you of Chertan's murder, of course. Do not worry. Of course it is. I'm only saying that I find it very, very strange. Of course I do. But I do not think that it is possible. Not happy, exactly. But surely you did not think that I care much for this dirty camp, because we were about to be overwhelmed by the golden horde led by the butcher named Timur, because I am a total coward. And not just that, I am duly proud of it. That is why I started studying physics, in fact. I wanted to make an impression on the Sultan, because swords and cannons are not for me. The first thing to do is to go to Chertan's corpse and examine it thoroughly. Arms, legs, face. Tell me the truth. my friend. A bathhouse maid brought it to me along with my clean laundry. A very pretty girl. Black hair. Nicely built. Then I gave him some wine to drink, and he suddenly began to shake and vomit blood. I will leave the testing to you. The best thing would be to investigate the poison. Every poison has different effects. One makes your hair fall out. Another turns your guts inside out. The Pitahoya bird lives on a faraway island, and just a few drops of its poison are worth more than a silver mine. It is not possible to find anything like that here. Lord Grozav poured it away in anger before you arrived, so that I could not poison anyone else, he said. Remember that learning is like a garden. If you do not tend it, it cannot bear fruit. Then the noble lord of Borumlaka arrived and started to go mad. The wine must have been poisoned here, in my infirmary. Although the Osmans are not that welcoming to my people, the Sultan at the time received envoys from all over the world, so I was useful. I went to Cairo, where I learned geography and law, so that I would be better prepared the next time. But I never went back to Mecca. I would rather not talk about this, my friend. All I can say is that there are a few rich men and their beautiful wives who I do not want to meet again. He tried to, but my Hungarian is not as good as I thought. He was coughing so much that I could not understand anything. And so you should. I learned that recipe in Granada. Exactly. They are bored, so they get drunk and knock each other's teeth out or strain their backs in the baths. Certainly not. Why study something for years when common sense is enough? All right. I have no choice but to believe you. I do have plenty of experience, though, and I think I can recognize who has a chance of surviving and who does not. You're welcome. I don't want to stick my nose in it, but be careful. Was there not some other poison in the book? Easier to acquire, but with the same effects. I'm sorry. That was not courteous of me. I am sure you will manage somehow. What is more, you cannot just run around the camp searching people and then try to figure out which of that horde is the murderer. Fortunately, I was helped by a couple of my compatriots, but even so, I did not spend long there. Let us say that I was foolish then, and foreign customs took me by surprise. Fortunately, I was saved by Sultan Bayezid's warship, though it did not seem like good fortune at the time. Luckily, that is, luckily for me, it was around then that Sigismund's messenger came to see the Sultan. Absolutely, but I doubt that she was mixed up in this. Chertan was not the first person I gave the wine to today. That is not hard. I examine the dead body, I find the symptoms of the poison, and I compare them with known effects of poisons. Why would he care about his standing here? He wants to move everyone out as soon as possible anyway. Think fast, my friend. You must understand that there are not many of my countrymen among the Osmans. The last time was probably in the days of Mansa Musa. Go west from here until you reach the sea, then south to a place called Peninsula Iberica. Perhaps it was a little more cloudy. Perhaps. But I wanted to see Europe one day. And do you Christians not see us as accomplished physicians? If nothing else, it was not my first choice. Or do you think I long to spend half my life in some dirty tent? I am very grateful, my friend. I truly appreciate that. But I am not sure that is possible. I would be very happy to get away from here, and perhaps even return home, but only when I am sure I will survive the journey. Instead of making me his counselor and physician, he sent me here. You have delightful women and valiant men. Your pigs are more noble than Arabian stallions, and the water in the streams tastes better than the sweetest milk. I have more important things to do than to try to trick you. I am asking you sincerely, as a friend. People from all over the world go there to trade. I help them as a translator, especially for Christian envoys from Ethiopia on a pilgrimage to Rome. If we discover what poison was used on Chertan, we just have to find it, and the mystery is solved. In the infirmary, you'll find a chest. Take from it my almanac of poisons and compare what you saw with the symptoms described there. If only you could have seen their glorious arrival in the city. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Really? I do not think so, my friend, since it is unlikely you will ever get a chance to complain to him. Catherine, I think she is called. I am a caddy, what you call a magistrate. Of course. You'll find his headquarters in a circle of cumin tents right below the smithy. I am sure you understand that I did not want to wait for Timur's savages to cut my head off. Henry? What are you doing here? Grozav said, I was just hoping you would trust me enough to tell me the truth. It is all strange, though. Let others cut off heads. I can sew them back on again. He just needs a few days on bread and water alone, and some time to ponder in the latrine. Their procession stretched from the port to the city center, and they had live leopards as a gift for the king of Venice. One would think that the king would value physicians and sages who have traveled the world. But no. Ah, yes. He was in poor shape when they brought him in. It is a pity in any case. Such a beautiful and rich country, yet bathed in so much blood. Venice is an incredible city that floats on the sea, like a huge stone ship. I cannot force you, of course. But if you could find the time for it, I would be eternally grateful. I have nothing against him, of course. I may serve his brother, but believe me, I am not in a position that I would especially desire. I can lessen their pain, put them into a deep sleep or such. I'm going to pretend I did not hear anything. Next time, be more careful with your tongue. That seems unlikely. Evidence that here in Bohemia you will drink, even vinegar. But I did not stay long. I, who was accustomed to the Sultan's court, being asked to live among sailors. Out of the question. Thank you for the offer. But look at me. My appearance is a little conspicuous. There is nowhere for me to hide in this country. You must remember everything that looks strange to you. There was a war, and I did not want to go into battle and be shot at by people like you. So I started to learn medicine. He was pale, his eyes were bloodshot, and he was acting like he had been hit very hard on the head. Similar to your country, yet completely different. You mine silver, we gold. But in our country, it would never happen that we allow foreigners into our mines. Until I ended up at the court of King Sigismund. Yes, Sultan Muhammad must constantly repel attacks from the north, mainly followers of the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Praise be his name. But the journey is dangerous. I was robbed and arrived in the city as a pauper. He did not even make me his personal physician. He prefers to trust your quacks and sent me here. But good people live here. I must admit. I admit that there are some things I envy you for, like what you can do with stone. But believe me, I have no desire to help Sigismund and his people. But let us just say that King Sigismund did not show me the respect my position is worthy of. But please, do not mention it to anyone. It would not look good for someone in my situation to have such a book. You surely understand. But I have been thinking about what you said, that some spy is most likely behind the murder. But I cannot stop thinking about how you wanted to drink to King Wenceslas with cats. But I cannot stop thinking about how brilliantly you dealt with Mishek. Why would someone with your abilities want to enlist? But there is still time. Perhaps I will have the good fortune to see more beautiful sights. But my supplies are not endless, and I must save them in case someone with worse problems comes. But if they had let me treat him, I might have been able to save him. But who am I to decide whether or not the pain will return, or if they will wake up from their sleep? But if you think the symptoms are the same, I will believe you. But if it was a very strong decoction, it could have killed someone with wounds, like Chetan had. But I would not go there if I were you. The magnificent Alhambra Palace is forbidden to Christians like you. Soon after, he was dead, and there is no shortage of them. Overall, it is safer in our country. Nobody will waylay you on your journey, and we treat women with greater respect and set great store by learning. And this conversation never took place. Are you sure it was that poison? Were there not more in the book? And because it cannot be you, me, or Katz, that leaves Grozav, Stephen, and the two guards. And I managed to persuade the Sultan to send me to Hungary as a goodwill gesture. And I'm proud of it. And even if I did get away by some miracle, they would punish you and Katz instead of me. I cannot allow that. Do you want to hear the truth? Or should I praise it to high heaven? Ya Allah! A dead body. Not even I can help him now. I hope no one blames me for this. They just leave corpses out like that here. Strange country. Better you than me. You need a few strokes of the whip. Do not make more work for me. Everywhere I go in this land, I encounter death. Henry! Inna lillahi wa inna illahi raji'un. What happened here? The resulting effect is either soothing to sleep-inducing, or a strong laxative. Well. I don't know this one yet. I'll have to put it in the herbarium. Boil for 2 turns, and the result is a fragrant oil. Boil for 10 turns, and you have floor polish. I might as well make jam out of it. I'd better take more. They'll soon lose their blossom. Yes, I think I am starting to recover, and seeing you definitely helps. A beautiful woman like you stuck in a place like this. Like a rose, surrounded by thorns. Silence. Just the singing of birds. It's so quiet. I was wondering if you would like to hear about what it is like in the royal court. Thank you, but I will not be needing your services today. I brought you some ointments. That is all. Good day to you, beautiful lady. The best is wine or oil. I'll also bring some to the bath so that Smolka doesn't have to go there herself. Maybe too quiet. You have a difficult and thankless job. But from the little I have seen, I can say you perform it with a... Did you like them? I thought they might go with your eyes. They are relatively rare. If you permit me, I would like to show you the place where they grow. If only Fatuma could see me now. The best is tar. That is why it smells. But it would not be possible without it. I just wanted to make sure you have everything you need. Do you still have ointments and bandages? No, I just wanted to say I admire you. All of you. I hope it worked. What do you mean by that? I have traveled half the world, but I have never seen a woman as beautiful as you. Ah, yes. It looks like someone treated it clumsily at first, and someone else put the damage right a lot later. And now, don't get it mixed up. And maybe a little bit of forest fruit. Lavandula taraxacum. And fruit of the plum. We can pour it onto the dung heap. Certain grace. And with constant stirring... Seriously? Allah will protect you, my friend. Everything depends on your success now. Really? You do not seem so bad to me. Wounded. You're bleeding. We have to do something to stop it. Give me a moment. Maybe you can treat yourself. Down in the tower we have a workshop where you can make healing decoctions. Very good, friend. Soon enough, you will be as strong as an ox again. Believe me, the more people I heal and get between me and Sigismund's army, the better. Of course I am. I sew people up. I do not know how to rip them open. Experience from life is a greater teacher than theory. We do not have enough bandages. We must do something about it. Why does everyone in this country think I want to poison them? Forgive me. It just seems such a pity to me that such beautiful hands should be covered in blood. Its beauty pales in comparison to yours. Me? Afraid? Very well. But you should also tell them to make certain it is clean. I hope that someone comes here soon to defend us. Captain Zizka does have a plan, right? Where did you learn to take care of the injured? You are better at it than many learned men I know. My face would be quite honored. Salvia and Timus. They help stop bleeding and swelling. It is just too bad Persicaria does not grow around here. Again? Well, I suppose it will be all right if I am not here for a while. Why not, my friend? But I do not have time right now. Come and see me in the infirmary sometime. At least I can practice your language. You use some strange phrases, you know? Though it is true that it did not go too well last time, did it? I suppose you had more important things to do, but that does not matter now. Let us go. News travels fast. Before I know it, I will be persona non grata. In the camp and elsewhere. Well, not fighting. I was in their camp. I only saw battle from a distance. What else was I supposed to do? That is right. Enemies, you say? I have never had enemies before. But this changes everything. No, that is not what I am hoping for. But perhaps I could quickly make it to the camp and take my things. What proposition? I was fighting on their side. Thank you for the offer, gentlemen, but I shall have to think it through. At least some consolation. Perhaps you are right. And what came after it? Naturally, in the infirmary. It was not a pleasant experience. Henry! Henry! Tell me, what happened? Where is everybody? The explosion. Talk to me, Henry! Henry! I mean, look at yourself. A man should have 4 humors in his body. But you have replaced them all with alcohol. That is more than impressive, if it is what gives you joy. But you still do not have the document. Big and strong, of wise countenance. Handsome, perhaps. I simply do not want to. Truly? And did he say what the people in that kingdom looked like? Perhaps they were a little like me. All right. But have you never heard of Prester John, or the Christian kingdom of Axum? Musa of Mali is my name. Scholar, traveler, and physician. I run the camp infirmary. Every creature is beautiful and noble, for Allah created them thus. I am just admiring his work. I hope we have enough time. You are about to leave for Sedlets, are you not? And you see, it was not. Of body and soul. I know very well what you mean. Dietrich here gaped at me with the same foolish expression on his face. I know what you meant. Dietrich here had the same foolish look on his face the first time that he saw me. Long live! May he graciously go and fuck himself. Alcohol and gambling may have their uses, but they are also sinful, and much more sinful than beneficial. And what about the deserters? And he dealt with the traitors. Perhaps even too well for my taste, and as far away from me as possible, unless they threw it away somewhere. And what now? Will you head out for Sedlets? Good luck with your task. I would not like for that poor fellow to have died in vain. Kasagin the manje. For my part, I could happily have done without all this. I could brew for you a reviving tonic, if you are not afraid, after all this. By the way, should I prepare the infirmary? The bathhouse. Such a wonderful thing. But you people use it for such unchivalrous ends. A man should keep reminding himself that zina, what you call fornication, is a shameful deed, opening the road to other evils. And over there is our bathhouse. It is not a sight for sore eyes, my friend. I mean the women, of course. Not this filthy place. Minus difficultatum officit quum expectabum. Novus imperator surbotonatis suis preest. Proverbium novistis. Sentiens repetitis in stabula bovem esse. Sed semper vobis imperata ut eam mulcturi sitis. That is a long story. I once served Sultan Bayezid. in regionibus australibus multibus consiliis adfui, que ad finem sanguinoso fuerunt. Spero ex hoc similem experientiam non habere, sed vetus costas transfugere puterat. And I would bet that it was one of us who was there at the time. What do you mean, you think? Do you know or not? Sincere, esset melius si hic plures adicent. Cisne de hoc? Inter vos obvi fuistisne? Novistina eum? Novistina eum? Ad ores tuas paratas omnia adveniunt. Non credo sic esse. Inusitatum est. I bought it on my way here, in Moravia. I have not yet had time to study it properly. Ita fuit, sed melius aritsi de hoc non logveter. Nemo. Commodo. Commodo temperisti. Cum, gaudeo. Nescio cor in mentem non ventum sit. Gratias ago quod mihi dixeris. In posteritatem prudentio ero. Magno pere inusitatum est. Certesio. Seracvo. Very slowly, as far as I know. I remember this potion from Granada. Before battle, we poured it into the river that our enemies threw water from. That is a very interesting idea, but it has one defect, does it not? Tantum sententia mea est. Non necesse ude eat consentias. Sic spero. It might seem so at first glance, but not when you give it some thought. Nunc ad narrandum tempus non est cardinales. Omnes decretum tum manent. Someone should question them all. Maybe their statements will give something away. Then you did not choose the best way of life. Perhaps. I have heard the same. And did you notice how quickly he accused me? Now, we can only hope that the murderer has not had time to get rid of the evidence. Dominus ex borum laca id nunciavit. Inter nos, hominibus tranquillitatem non dedit. Excellent, my friend. Finally, someone who understands my craft a little. Perhaps you could help me here sometime. Conata sum expecare imperatore id eventum occultare opus es. Sed dominus ex borum laca proprium sententiam habet. Spero eum vos intellecturum esse, cardinales. Alio tempore, cardinales. Nunc ad narrandum tempus non habemus, sed lesium ad hoc tempus meliorem statum habet. Meritus eos est quod adfesium factum sit. Conato hunc statum conservare. Salve, cardinales. Tantum consentire possum. Puto meleus esse ut ad omnia paratissimus. Praeseterum vaietur sum dicam. Frate me ex malia mea natale perimacam ad al andulus tolerunt. Good luck. I am depending on you. Libenter. Excusami? Clarius logvi potes? Cur? Non intellego. Cur? Non intellego. Normale ubi de pecunia est. Quid pium? Od venire potest. Eruditionum cupio. Studio initiala tumbuti me natali feci. Juribus cari et mediciane granati studui. I think it must be someone from here. A stranger would have been noticed. What is more, most people are not allowed up to the powder store. Wait a moment. There is something I must tell you. Paretia Penevinciana Sancta Barbara edificatione ex aerum auctoritate alabe vult. Fortasse eos vult superare. Tu soltem spero. Mihi omnia clara videntur. Aldebert and Radovan? It is strange they did not notice anything until it was too late. That is true. Simplex est, if you say so. But it is a pity. This could have been a very interesting conversation. Difficultas vero non fuit. Certani milites eius morotem benen non acceperunt. Nesis. Pulchrum est. Non intellego. Non intellego. Malate habes vestre eminentia? Loquimini imperfecte. Geste mea mirabilia non sunt. Talibus hominibus ut mihi in sede sancte certe multus obvium factus est. The easiest answer? A foreigner, who gave the dead man poison and who does not hide his dislike, even of Sigismund. Alecfid hic sensum non habet. What? How do you mean? Cats. Tenet me structura et hierarchia ecclesia vestre. Notabilis est. Putas? Idec vo hic agitur? He ate something bad. But out here in the field, when it is hot, that happens all the time. But he behaves like he is dying. Who do you think is the prime suspect at this moment? Musa ex malia. Ad iusa tua. Id putuit tantum onus homo sire. Concrusatio inusitata est. Tanto nomus homo. Putuit tibi itisere. Nemo alios de hoc siabat. Multi? Certus non sum. Pape. Dicam. Sententias dexteras non dicis. Some rest, fasting, and perhaps something to help with digestion. Benedicis cardinales. Utinam mox ad sermonem redivistimus post acta. How dubia benedicis, eminencia? Christianus non sum, sed multum de Jesu Christi doctrina didici. Ad vitsum Sigismunde area accedo et conarboro solutionem discordiarum inspicere. Precipue modum in quo solvetur. Monastarium sed Latianum et Paritia Beneficiana secontendunt de Sancta Barbara Templo. Quod non parvos numus, a conditoribus vert. Quis tibi dixit, cardinalis? Adusa tua, Domine. Gaudeo te sententiam meam, sire vele. Musa sum ex malia. This name means nothing to me. I suppose I did not get that far in the book. Nomen mehe Musa, ex distanti malia venio, es conciliuntum, eminencia. Ita est, pulvis nutratus male servatus juxta ignis, et neme putavit et periculosum fore. Longa narrata. Ita infelicita. Felicita casus ista infelix cita solutus est. It is true that Sigismund has enemies everywhere, and killing his commander might be appealing. Non intellego cupiditatem vastrem potionem fermentatarem, sed omnes terres sues mores habent. I knew it! You are a spy! Non poto. Fedis mihi vedat. I remember the poison of the pitohui bird. It does indeed kill fast. But there is one catch. Inusitatissimum est. Ita. Sed elegvando os non apirere melios est. I do not know that poison, but if the name matches the effects, it could be the one we are looking for. Quis tessere tabuit? Locutus est. Ergot? Video in Italia vocabilis Germanis utantur. I am grateful to you, my friend, but I must refuse. I have had many experiences in life and come out of them alive. And do you know why? I knew it! I could tell straight away that you were cleverer than others in this camp. Certe? Sic credis. Bene, cardinales. Quid? Quomodo? Quid? Ego? Quomodo? Quid? Ego? Ego non, intellego. Fortunam tibi ex optimo. Meneo, quis tibi id dixit? Similabo menehil Odysse. First, you should know that I am grateful for what you are doing. Were it not for your investigation, I probably would not be standing here. Unfortunately for me, it cannot. Soltem et nobis castrorum imperator dixit. Te audio, ita, rogvo quis, tua eminencia, id non accidet. Unico solutio est eos adducere ad reconciliationem, ad postremum, ex maiora Iesu Christi gloria nituntur. Sed volo tede hoc eam ne loqui. Nunquam, even if I tell you, you can trust me. Sed gaudio vulneretes non fuesse. Tantum unus mise qui juxta castre custodabet ex eo sepit balbutiere. Do you want to know what I think? I think he is playing it up to get out of duty, but it was not I. I swear to Allah. And if you do not believe me, I do not understand what you are doing here. But the guards would not have let a stranger get close to the powder store. Sincero dico. Me godere breve tempos excre casre esse. I see it, and I would certainly be afraid if I planned to betray you. That is all right, friend. I hope that your task is truly important. And he carried Chertan to the infirmary with me. So, he could have poisoned the wine while I was not looking. Ed cur et statim tibi ea narat? Segredo. Partem historia esse. Et ali viginti id ipsum simulare seperent cum audicent me hunc modum regvete et vino cirare. Postea invenatias et sultani palatium. Et repente in Hungaria apud regem Sigismundum aram. I see news spreads like wildfire. How apt. I heard that they call him Alphabet. Why is that? He cannot read? I expect I have talent. I learned Hungarian in just 2 months. What is the new Archbishop of Prague like? What song? Just do not say that to them. You can see why. It is the best spot, right next to the captains. And when it rains, all the filth runs downhill to the Cumans and mercenaries areas. And up here is where Katz's company of Prague artillerymen are billeted, to the great displeasure of everyone else in the camp, I must say. Here is the pillory. May Allah, the compassionate, ensure you never end up in it. And if you go around the hill, you will come to the camp shooting range. I do not like to leave the infirmary unattended for long. I recommend visiting it. The Cumans must be born with a bow in their hands. But I will not escort you that far, my friend. Alaka Anben. Anomus sanos vidsit. Anomus sanos vidsit. Anomus sanos vidsit. Think about it. It is not your fault, really. How can a cook make something good when no pepper, cinnamon, or grains of paradise grow here? Really? You are like me, my friend. You know. Do you know where the food is truly great? In Granada. So much fruit, sweet pastries, fish. We must be gone! I am sure she does. You will see. That is the way of the world. I am not surprised. Diarrhea, a few bruises, a fever now and then. That is no challenge. A learned man would certainly be bored to death in your village. Was that praise or an insult? I cannot tell. All the more reason to marry her before someone else does. That was when Granada was attacked by Martin Yanez de la Barbuda. He might have your back flayed by a cane. I would not like to have to stitch you back together. Is that a tactful silence? You do not need to be shy with me, my friend. I admire you then. I would not dare to do that. All that blood. Then you have not looked hard enough. You have so many beautiful and clever girls here in Bohemia. You should put that right then. What if you come across one of the commanders and bump into him by mistake? That will be difficult. The local inns serve nothing but porridge and old bread. Do it. It is definitely a nicer life than in such a camp as this. Moderation and self-denial are certainly virtues, but as a physician, I advise you not to spend your whole life alone. Archery does not mean much to you, does it? No conversation, perhaps. I hope I have not offended you. It is a pity you will not be staying for longer. Dietrich is good to talk to, although I successfully avoid weapons. I have to admit that archery is not just a skill. It is an art. I understand. Lead the way. You prefer listening to speaking. All right. But a little polite conversation would do you no harm. I have done a lot of traveling, my friend. From Timbuktu to Mecca, and from Granada to Venice, and now here. But nowhere has the food been worse than here. We can discuss this later, yes? Let us get out of here. Quickly, now! My friend, the human body contains so much beauty and so many secrets that we could explore. So why do we spend so much time on the quality of defecation? Exactly. I can see that you take an interest. That is why. The more blood is spilt, the more work, if he is not drinking too much. Then there are the Cumans, who are commanded in battle by Cheritan. You will not meet him very often. He often has meetings with the king himself, in Sedlets. Really? That sounds like a spectacle that I would perhaps even pay to watch. And I did not want to die in some battle, so I found a safer way to be useful. Oh, all right. Keep your secrets to yourself. So be it. It is your choice. He is not a very cheerful man, but he seems a fair-minded commander to me. And he is an outstanding archer, it seems. You do not want to talk about it. I understand. Fortunately, a man can help himself in his hour of need, at least if he thereby prevents a worse sin. Our Lord Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, creates us in pairs and grants us love in our hearts, so that we may love another. In the court of Sultan Muhammad VII himself. That is where I became a physician. Yes, my friend, they can. I am sorry that I cannot show you more, but I am sure you understand that there is not much to see. Ah, you have chosen wisely, my friend. By the way, your chosen one. Is she pretty? By the way, what about you and women, my friend? You should find a good woman as soon as possible, and then marry her, and to do her what you see in her eyes. Speaking of the captains here, do you know who is in charge overall? I do not think it fortunate in any case. Someone with my knowledge, and all I do is treat diarrhea and broken bones? Are you still there, my friend? You are silent for some reason. Henry, what happened? Where are we? Imagine a roof over your head instead of a leaking tent, food cooked with love instead of a gruel cooked on a campfire. He is an interesting man, I'm sure, but he has a lot of trouble with the camp, so he tends to be, as you say, grumpy. As a physician, I can tell you that nothing harms human health as much as a blade in the belly. As I said, Sir Grozav commands the camp, but Cheritan commands in battle. Is something wrong? You are not offended, I hope. What? Are you shy? Come now. As a physician, I am only concerned for your health, physical and mental. Why? Are you afraid that I will steal her from you? How about you and archery, my friend? One is almost ashamed to call it an infirmary. Do you not think? The camp as a whole is run by Sir Grozav or Borumlaka. That is a village somewhere in Transylvania, as far as I know. Unfortunately for them, my friend, I suppose he has bigger problems than keeping his army healthy and fighting fit. No, not yet. What woman would want to spend her life traveling with me? I do. Admiring the charms of the bathhouse maids is one thing, but sinning is nothing to boast about. In one banquet, the cooks use more spices than your entire country in a year. But maybe you will see the world one day and find out that there are more flavors than just salt and honey. Perhaps. Well, there is enough of that. What were we talking about? But do not worry. There are more cheerful places in the camp. I am sure something will take your fancy, though it is true that you do not seem to be any great sage. I suppose you do not know what a real infirmary should look like. But your country is beautiful, all the same. But being single does not permit sinning with any girl who takes your fancy. Remember that. And at night, and it is the same here. Honestly, should a person with my knowledge be wasting his time here? And you would like to take over from me? I could find another job. And the third one joined us a few weeks ago. Dietrich Katz, with his Prague artillery regiment. Ah, yes, the camp captains. I am talking about smelling you from around the corner. Never mind. Perhaps next time. Peace be with you, Henry. Another morning blessed by Allah. Right, my friend? Henry, did you know that the ancient Romans used baths 1,000 years ago? You should also try it sometime, but also worse. Believe me, think about it. Perhaps it will come to you. But why? It is cold at night. If I remember correctly, I saw rain hardly 5 times in Mali. But it is true that I have not been there for a long time. It always can. You should drink and fornicate less. Or perhaps more. Well then, I am glad we are in agreement. Then you do not know what heat and mosquitoes can do. Even shit may be worth something, my friend. Camel dung, for example, burns well. Perhaps I should be charitable and hand out soap to those in need of it. Have a good day then, my friend. We shall see each other again. Come and see me sometime. More often than that, my friend. Ugh, why do I even try? As if anything would smell good in this land. Well, you must try harder then. Take care of yourself, Henry. I'll be going then. How are you doing, Cardinal? And he certainly does a lot. You do not like to talk about the weather, do you? So, is it nothing? Or is it much? It cannot be both, can it? I will never understand your language. But it could be worse. In a country like this, it could easily even start shitting down. Imagine, perhaps, but to feel them, that is a skill. Allah has mercifully removed your sense of smell to save your life. Do you say that here? Curious. Greetings, my friend. Your God blesses you, my good neighbor. People do not greet each other in this country, or what? My friend, this is not easy for me to say, but you stink like a camel's anus. I should be going. He must have manure in his ears if he cannot hear me. Ya Allah! What is that awful smell? Did I say something wrong? I dreamt I was back in Granada again. You have no idea how glad I am that it was just a dream. You have to take care of yourself, Henry. One can see every piece of dirt on you. See you around. Take care. Take care. If you are bored, you can take over from me. Henry? Is it you? Welcome, Henry. I've expelled some stuff from my body that has smelled better. Has someone prohibited you from doing so? If only it were not so cold at night. I suppose the weather does not interest you. After a night like this one. No. In truth, I also cannot tell what it is. Like half-baked bread. In my homeland, we say, if you are bored, go and dig up the grave of a dirty old pig. Simply that you stink. You should bathe sometimes. How polite he is. I am not sure. What if it washes off my healthy color, and I will look like you? I am not afraid. I am just shaking from the cold. No? I might have something for that. Come and see me sometime. What did I expect? I respectfully wish you the finest evening. Iniwula, Henry. Greetings, Henry. This is some weather, is it not? Just suffer, so that you shall earn paradise after you die. Christian. Hui! What's that stench? It seems you do not hold me in high esteem. Amen, Cardinal. And a good morning to you, Musa. Oh, I am so glad I am worthy of a simple greeting. That was a day like a donkey fat. It is good that it's behind us, yes? I wish you a pleasant day, Father. Having a good sleep or a good shit. Are those not the best things in life that are free? Perhaps he did not hear me. Are you still sleeping? Or did you not hear me? How is it possible it is always raining? There cannot even be so much water in all the world. Suddenly deaf, I see. Is everyone here so impolite, or what? I wish you a good morning, Henry. Did I say it right? People in this land have very little imagination. I too. But I try to find joy in what we have. It is raining again? What kind of land is this? Definitely better than it is now. Rarely. But a lot of other things happen there. There is nothing better than a good night's sleep. Would you agree? Well, if you think that tomorrow will be better somehow, go! They're gone. Shh. Eric!